Hello and welcome to the official NoN-eSports YouTube channel. I am Kadoink, and today, spawning in the bottom right of Newkirk District, we have our NoN-eSports player Tokiloki, and his opponent in the bottom left of Newkirk District is the red Zerg Busker. So this is a PvZ on Newkirk District. For those of you who haven't heard of Newkirk District, it's a pretty new map that came out with the Heart of the Swarm beta, and has since been moved to Wings of Liberty onto the regular ladder for people to test. So as you can see, I'm just kind of showing you the different bases. This would be kind of a fourth you could take. Another option is you could go up here, take a fourth there. So this is, of course, Wings of Liberty, not Heart of the Swarm, even though this is a Heart of the Swarm map. But in exciting news, I have gotten the Heart of the Swarm beta. I'm going to be playing a lot of it, trying to get that those 3 portraits before the beta runs out. And I'm going to be doing some casting on Heart of the Swarm, hopefully, which will be very exciting. Boisterous wants to test out the shared replay feature with me, and so a lot of co-casts are going to be going on between me and him, and hopefully I'm going to start getting stuff back up on the Kadoink Studios channel, which I apologize for not having much up lately. I was on holidays, and then I had the FPS issue that I am getting over pretty well. I think I found a reasonable FPS. There's a little bit of lag every now and then, and maybe Heart of the Swarm might fix that a little bit. I don't know, I haven't tested it yet. I'll be doing that today, as Boisterous and I will be co-commentating today, which is very, very exciting. So anyway, we have Busker and Tokiloki here on Newkirk District. Busker going for the spawning pool first, which is interesting. Usually we see Hatch first play. But this is a map that can lead to a lot of aggression. You have this watchtower here that can really take control of the middle. This one not doing so much, but preventing maybe like some sneak attacks from the top. Oh no, Tokiloki says, don't know what that's for. But, oh, perhaps the fact that he saw pool first. Maybe he's a little bit worried about going Nexus first, which he did do. Then he put down his forge. He's going to be putting off a wall. But as I was saying, the distance between the two players is really, really short on this map. This map is actually very small, so it can lead to a lot of early aggression, and Zergling play can be very strong, and I think that is definitely part of Tokiloki's oh no, but I think he should be able to complete this wall. We only have 2 lings coming out for Busker, so nothing too severe. He's getting his queen up, and his hatchery, which is a little bit late since he went pool first, will be finishing soon, and he will be taking a 3rd base, no doubt. Drone going there right now, and he's just going to play a macro game. Pretty usual out of Busker, most common thing we see in ZVP. Tokiloki, on the other hand, let's see what he's doing. He's got his gateway just about finished, and he'll be starting his cybernetics course shortly after. Double gas, which is quite good, will lead you to be able to tech more. Probably going to go for some sort of robo play, I would suspect. A lot of players might think that air might be good on this map. I think that that's a reasonable thing to say, as you have this big ledge here, big undefended ledge. The only time air could be a little bit weaker is maybe in the late game when a player has this base, because then these 3 bases are actually quite tight, and you can defend air a lot easier. But in the early game, like I said, this whole area is wide open, and then, of course, you can come up through the natural. So we'll see what Tokiloki decides to do. Busker, of course, does see that double gas. Nothing really can deny that. Scout, he is going to be popping out a Stalker pretty soon. And here comes a couple lings just to scout the front of the base. Zealot going to push them away very easily. Cannon here preventing him from being able to get up into the main and see anything else. So actually, it is a Stargate play, so just like I was saying, air pretty good in the early game. We'll see how Tokiloki does, how he manages to use his Phoenixes, which I suspect he will be going Phoenixes. Void Ray's not too popular in Wings of Liberty anymore, but hopefully we'll make a bit of a splash in Heart of the Swarm. We'll have to see. Zerg player, on the other hand, taking a double gas, getting a Roach Warren up and an Evolution Chamber. And this is very, very sneaky, because any Protoss player that sends a probe or a Zealot up into the base is going to see this double gas and immediately think that he's going to be teching quickly to Infestors, because the Roach Warren indicates that he probably won't be going Mutas, and the double gas indicates that he will be teching. But the reason this is tricky is because those are his first 2 gas. Busker hasn't taken any gases in his main. So what's going to end up happening is he can do some sort of big early roach push, roach play, and make it seem like he's teching if Tokiloki decides to scout this. But interestingly, we see a Void Ray coming out. So this is something that players used to do a lot. They would make 1 Void Ray and then start making tons of Phoenixes. And you can use the Void Ray to, of course, clear creep and things like this. The Void Ray is going to be spotted by this Overlord. And, wow, I never noticed the beams coming around this. There's some sort of weird glitch where the beams weren't forming right. Maybe that's just it charging. I don't know. I've never stared at a Void Ray long enough. And a second on the way. So, wow, this is interesting. This is a bit new. We'll have to see how it does. I think Busker is going to be fine because he saw the first Void Ray and he's going to start putting down Spore Crawlers like he's doing. He's got Queens up at each base. And I think he's going to be alright. He's going to work on his macro, continue to build drones. He's getting that layer up. So might be going for... I don't know what he's going to go for. He might be going for Hydra Roach, which would be really, really cool in this situation. Hydra's very, very good against Void Rays, of course. We have the Void Rays going across the map at this time, as well as a probe, so we can build a pylon and warp some units in. And we'll see how this little attack does. They're going to be going towards this third, where there is a Spore Crawler and a Queen. Probably the second Queen will start coming down, as there is creep between the natural and the third, so Busker can reinforce if he needs to. Spore Crawler doing some damage on the Void Rays. I don't know how much it's going to do. The Lings are very easily going to clean up the Zealot before it kills the Spore Crawler. And these Zealots might be a little bit more of a threat. They'll be able to pick off the Lings very, very quickly and go straight towards the Queen and then the Spore Crawler after that. So Busker in a little bit of trouble here, but he is popping out 13 Roaches at the time, and Roaches will be able to kill these Zealots no problem. And with these 3 Queens, I think he should be able to hold off this attack and even keep his third. So Zealot's doing a lot of damage to the Roaches, a lot more than I thought they would be doing. The Queen's not really attacking as much as they should be. A Phoenix coming in as well. He could lift one of the Queens if he wants to, but a 4th one joins, and I think that this might be it for Tokiloki's push, who will have to return now that there are 5 Queens and a lot of Roaches. So not too much being lost if we look in the Workers lost tab. 7 Workers killed, not terrible. Actually pretty decent. The Void Ray does go down, so a bit of a trade there. It would have been nice if he was able to keep that. He's continuing his Phoenix production and saying, as though he doesn't quite know what to do next. I'd like to see him... You got me a new idea, that's funny. I'd like to see him swing into the main as... he knew 5 Queens were down here, and the Queens are going to take a very long time to get up into the main. That would have been one of the benefits of keeping your Void Ray, is that you can do things like that. So now that Busker has a ton of Queens, he can start spreading his creep, which you see he's doing, and with that newfound vision, he can take this expansion, and it'll be a little bit safer with extra creep spread and with extra Queens. Right now, Roach is streaming across the map, and there is not much in the way of defenses for Tokiloki. Fortunately, he does have quite a bit of sentries, so he can force field for a long, long time. Some Stalkers being warped in, and the Void Rays and Phoenixes, of course, are just going to pick Roaches off one at a time. Force field's going down. That's it. I mean, he just has to move away now. He can wait till they run out, but with 5 sentries, he's going to be doing that for a while, and he can warp more in as well. Phoenix, Void Ray, very good against Roaches, as Roaches cannot attack up. So, looks like Busker decided to go the Infestor route. He did put down an Infestation Pit somewhere. Cannot find it this time. There it is. Getting his double gas in his main, has his double gas in his third, and I suspect he'll be taking his gas in his 4th very, very quickly. Getting that Infestor Roach up, very, very common. With this large number of Phoenixes, though, Hydras would have been really cool to see. I think that's something we'll see a lot more in Heart of the Swarm, more than we do in Wings of Liberty, but there are players who are well known for using Hydras more often than not. Like, Stefano's a player who likes to use Hydras, or had been, especially in ZVT, which is quite odd. So Tokiloki is taking his 3rd base behind the Zerg's 3rd, and of course starting really after his 4th finishes. Tokiloki does see this. This isn't so much of a big deal in PvZ, as Protoss doesn't need as many bases as Zerg. Zerg needs a lot of bases to get gas. And, oh, another Void Ray goes down, so he is out of Void Rays, and now his Phoenixes are just going to kind of fly around, do some scouting. I think with this number of Queens, they can't really do that much. And, of course, there are still Spore Crawlers at each base, so not too much damage being done. Tokiloki moving up to take this as his 4th base, which I think is so smart for Protoss. Makes this distance very short. You can defend your 3rd and your 4th very easily. In fact, defending your 3rd is defending your 4th in this situation. Zergs, though, can take bases a little bit farther out. Kind of want to expand away from the Protoss player because they can very, very easily run their units back with creep and with Zergling speed so fast they can just go back to their 4th, defend it, where Protoss has a little bit of a slower army. So, 2 Colossi popping out at this time. He has got the double Robo going on, as well as the Robotics Bay pumping out that thermal lance. We have Phoenixes flying over the Roach army, seeing exactly what's going on. Nice little split going on from Busker. He's going to be sending one probably to the natural, and then one to the 3rd, and then maybe kind of doing a little pincer move on the Protoss army. Just right here, like I'm saying, and some great force fields going down, actually kind of preventing Tokiloki from getting out of his base, so I don't really know if it's so great anymore. A lot of Roaches doing a lot of damage to the Stalker army of Tokiloki. The Colossus doing a lot of damage. He was able to trap a nice little clump of Roaches. Wow, that's actually really, really effective with the Colossus splash damage. Colossus is not going to go down, and Tokiloki is going to hold this, like, flawlessly. That was incredible. Force fields were very hit or miss at first. I thought, well, he kept it away from his army, but he also force fielded himself off from the 3rd. Really threw me for a loop, and wow, 4 Queens getting picked up here. They will go down thanks to these Stalkers and Phoenixes. So Busker in a world of hurt right now. If we look at the units lost, very much in Tokiloki's favor. And if we look at things like the Army tab, 88 to 64 army supply, and even ahead in the worker count. So Tokiloki definitely looking strong, looking very good, very poised to do some more damage. One thing Busker has going for him is his creep spread is absolutely magnificent. Look at all these tumors. My god. So many spine crawlers going down at this time. 14 in total. We got 9 corruptors on the way. And he's definitely going to be taking into Broodlord Infester. Have that Greater Spire just about finished. Another base coming out for Tokiloki here in this spot. Couldn't take it a little earlier because he did have to defend, of course. And now he's going to be on the offensive himself, but he's going to run into a wall of spine crawlers. We'll be able to pick him off very quickly, but the spine crawlers delaying, which is kind of the point of them, to delay and to keep the Stalkers from getting underneath the Broodlords. But since there are no Broodlords yet, simply delaying. Infestors moving forward with some nice force fields, keeping the Lings and the Infestors away from the Protoss army. However, the Zerglings were able to slip through and surround the Stalkers, and the Colossi going down to these Corruptors. Wow, this is very bad for Tokiloki. He needs to return home. The supply quickly shifting into the Zerg player's favor. He will be running home, doing a nice blink. He does have another Colossus, and he is producing one more. Even though he has a double Robo, he's only producing what looks like... okay. Just needed a bit more gas to add that one. Going to be adding 5 gates as well as a fleet beacon, so we'll be going up to that mothership so that he can deal with the Broodlord Infester. Going to be sending some Phoenixes up to the 4th to do some nice damage. Let's look at the kills on these guys. We got 3 on one, 4 on another, 5 on another. So each of them got quite a bit of kills. Probably most of those drones, things like that. However, they did just kind of let themselves get killed by by these spore crawlers. So Tokiloki is going to have to do some defending now. He really needs to get this up and saturated, this 4th base, especially because Busker is working on his 5th. I don't like this move of him moving out at this time. Tons of spine crawlers going down. He's trying to deny as much creep. That's kind of what he's doing. He's going to be able to pick off just one of those spine crawlers. But those Lings are going to force them back. You really need those Colossi to kill the Lings very, very quickly, as well as the Zealots to just kind of meat shield the Lings away from the Stalkers. You really don't want Stalkers surrounded by Lings. That's very bad, actually. So, what are the upgrades looking like? We have the Protoss player at 3-0, while the Zerg player on the ground is 2-2. A little bit more favorable to have 2-2 than 3-0, in my opinion. His Broodlords, of course, have no air upgrades yet, but he is getting that +1 flyer attack for his Corruptors, so he'll be able to kill those Colossi very quickly. So Marcon's finally being morphed in here at the 20-minute mark. Nice long game going on. It's exciting. I feel like the last few games have been kind of short. But the two players are going to be engaging, just kind of poking back and forth. I don't think that Busker really wants to attack that quite yet. But he does have a good bit of Broodlords. He's going to be able to take out this base. Nice, canceling at the very last minute. In fact, in total, we have 9 Broodlords and 9 Infestors. So a very nice army. The only thing is not too many Corruptors, only 5. And so these Colossi are going to take a lot longer to die. But that's alright, because his ground force and his Broodlord force is very strong, and if he can just shut down the Stalkers with his Infestors, should be fine. Ooh, a lot of probes, skipping some Lings. The Lings running up into the natural, and then into the main of Tokiloki. This is incredibly bad, and it's going to be very, very difficult for him to stop. Lings, of course, going for the Nexus, because he knows that Mothership is just about finished. Oh my goodness, and the Nexus got killed before the Mothership was able to pop out. Oh, that is so tragic for Tokiloki. It's going to be very, very hard for him to engage the Broodlord Infestor army now. A second Nexus going down to these Lings, and that is the danger of a Ling run by, folks. You may think they're just Lings, but they can kill things so quickly, and it's so hard to get through your Protoss Sim City with your giant Stalker Colossus force, where Lings can just slip through. So, ironically, saving you in the early game, but hurting you in the late game. So it looks like Tokiloki is going to be moving forward a little bit. He really wants to take another base. He managed to get this 5th up in the top right, but I think it is very vulnerable thanks to this ramp up at the top. Doing a little bit of moving forward. Some Stalkers get fungal growth. We have Spine Crawlers all the way past the halfway point of the map, excuse me. And this is what I was talking about, this watchtower. This whole area gives you control of the entire map. This little space is basically where all units run through. You have this little one up here as well, but that takes just a little bit longer, and it looks like Tokiloki is going to be moving up that way, knowing exactly about how important this space is, but the problem with that is he's going to be kind of forcing a base race scenario if he's not careful. He's going to be moving up to the, what looks like the 6th base of Busker. While Busker moves down to Tokiloki's 3rd, and there's not going to be much in the way of defense, so we do indeed have a base race scenario, a little bit favorable for Tokiloki just by the fact that Broodlords are so incredibly slow. But the problem is if the two armies have to engage each other, then I think Busker can actually take it. So this 3rd going down, the 5th or 6th going down very, very quickly for Busker. Tokiloki moving up to what was the 4th now, which will go down. Wow, and actually, Broodlords take forever to kill a Protoss base. He's just now picking off the 3rd, while Tokiloki has killed 2 bases, so the DPS very high. Holy Spine Crawlers. 31 Spine Crawlers produced. Of course, they are all going to go down because kind of built at the wrong time, but still, 30 at once is pretty impressive. The one advantage of the Broodlords is they can, of course, fly over the whole map, and so they won't have to worry about the Sim City of the Protoss army, where of the Protoss base, excuse me, where the Protoss will have to deal with all these pesky Spine Crawlers that are in the way. He is moving forward and killing some Infestors, which is quite nice, and this is exactly what I was talking about. These Broodlords are so incredibly slow, so it's really hard to decide what to do. You can see how indecisive Busker is, moving forward, moving back, this base going down. And actually, Tokiloki finds himself coming out quite a bit ahead. It is 177 supply to 106. And the base count is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 3 base. So wow, Tokiloki making the great decision by doing the base race. Like I said, it's favorable because he has the most mobile army. The only thing is he really can't engage, and so this is where it gets dangerous, is how is he going to get home at this time. These Broodlords are trying to posture themselves into a position where they'll be able to catch the Protoss army off guard. I think if he runs now with all haste, he might be able to get away, but look at this wave of Broodlords. That is one of the most terrifying things to see as a Protoss player, and he is indeed going to see it. The Broodlords moving forward, and I think that they're going to be able to get this army. There's not really much Tokiloki can do to defend. Stalkers are doing as much damage as they can. Of course, a blink forward to maybe save the Stalkers, but the Colossi are going to go down very quickly to these Broodlords. He's trying to run around do a little ring around the rosy here, but I don't think it's going to be... Wow, actually, Broodlords are super freaking slow. So, he might get away. I mean... Oh, wow. A little Broodlord flank. So, very smart move from Busker. Oh, but the Stalker's blinking under the Broodlords with nothing underneath him. This is a little bit risky. He had a little bit of protection before, but once again, the Stalker's blinking underneath him, and Busker's just kind of throwing away a good amount of Broodlords. Yes, Tokiloki's army is dying, but he can replenish Stalkers very easily, and in fact, with his bank, he can replenish his Colossi as well. So, kind of some interesting engagements going on, some very interesting battles. Mothership just now finishing, and a lot of Stalkers here. We have, of course, 2 Colossi on the way. He is getting that +2 Protoss shields, or armor, excuse me. Actually, that's +3. Apologize. 6 Infestors on the way. We have a good bit on the ground already. A lot of Broodlords. Would like to see some Lings. They're just kind of a buffering unit to put in between your Infestors and the Protoss army. Warp Prism speed coming out. I think that's Warp Prism speed. I don't know why I'd get Observer speed this late in the game. But looks like Protoss army is running straight into the Broodlord army. A nice fungal growth going down, preventing the Stalkers from being able to blink forward and attack the Broodlords, and a Colossus and a bunch of Stalkers aren't going to go down. So that was a great fungal. A lot of Archons on the map at this time as well. And Tokiloki is going to have to back up here, and he might have to give this base away unless the Infestors overextend, which is a very big possibility. And ooh, some good fungal growths could go down, but they are not going down at this time. Oh man, only catching a few clumps of Stalkers. He really wants to get a little bit more than that. And this base is indeed going to be going down. So, Tokiloki waiting for that Mothership. Keep wanting to say Mothership Core, but it is a full-on Mothership. It does have Vortex. In fact, it's trying to build up enough energy for 2. And if he can move forward and if he can Vortex this, the game is just gonna go completely crazy. The Mothership going forward, the Broodlord's trying to run away, but I think he might be able to get it. Stalker's blinking underneath the Broodlords, doing so much damage. A nice Vortex going into the top half of Broodlords, but the rest of the Broodlords are running away. The Stalkers, of course, can't continue to blink unless they are fungal, so a nice fungal going down by Busker, saving the rest of his Broodlord army, but a lot of Broodlords are going to go down right now. We'll see how many pop out. Ooh, that is a good number. Probably 4 or 5 Broodlords died very quickly. So, Protoss definitely in the lead here. He's gotten another base up here in the top position. He can retake this base here in the middle, which is a little vulnerable, but it's also nice because you can keep your army here and protect it. So, Tokiloki ahead in supply, ahead in income. If we look at the income tab, it is... Yeah, you can see it for yourself, 1,700 to 1,000. Very much in Tokiloki's favor. I like these Stalkers here. But, well, actually there aren't like mutas or circling drops or anything, so does need to take these and put them with the rest of his army. I would say if there's some like mutalist play going on or overlord drops, that would be quite good. So, Mothership has enough energy for yet another Vortex, so he is going to be moving out across the map. A nice little fungal growth going down, and it looks like a lot of Spine Crawlers are coming in and trying to do a little bit of buffering with Vortex, but what in the world? Busker is moving his entire Broodlord army into the Vortex. That's a bit weird if you ask me. If he could blink in there and it would be really effective, but some more Broodlords and Infestors at the top are going to prevent that from happening. So maybe Busker's saying, look how confident I am, your Vortex can't do anything, go ahead and waste it. A lot of cannons going down, some more Archons morphing at this time. I think the Tokiloki is really feeling the pressure of this Broodlord Infestor. Such a great position the Broodlords are in right now, this little clump of terrain protecting them from Stalkers, but the Stalkers blinking up to the north, picking off a few on the top, but he is going to be moving back, kind of pivoting around this point to prevent the Stalkers from doing any more damage. Some incredible fungal growths going down, hitting the entirety of the Protoss army, and it looks like even the Mothership is going to go down with these Colossus, and you can see the supply dropping very quickly for Tokiloki. This base will go down again, and he is going to have to run away with these Stalkers and Colossi. A lot of Broodlords moving forward at this time. The Infestors still have quite a bit of energy, so Tokiloki in a big danger right now. He is going to be moving and trying to prevent more bases from going down, and he catches the Infestors off guard with the Broodlords too far behind and was able to pick off a few of them. Some nice feedbacks going down onto the Infestors. And wow, this game is completely crazy. Moving up to this top base to destroy it and further prevent the mining of Busker. You can see how low his minerals and gas is at this time, and that's the problem. If he does lose his entire Broodlord army, he'll be in a world of hurt. So a nice blink forward, picking off even more infestors. So the Broodlord's finally catching up and doing some damage, but this mobile army from Tokiloki can just run around like crazy and do so much damage. This base, of course, being the only real mining base of Busker. Actually, I say that, but this one is a little bit saturated. He wasn't able to get that hatchery, which is quite tragic. Infestors moving forward once again to try to do some damage. More Corruptors going down, more Infestors. Overseers just kind of following along. But those Broodlings doing so much damage to these Stalkers. He's trying to get away as best as he can and wait for that Mothership to pop out once again. Wow, actually a lot of Corruptors dying at that time, and they're going to be a pain to replenish with that low of gas. So more cannons being placed. I think that's very, very wise from Tokiloki in case any kind of Ling run by or really anything the cannons are good for. He's making more Archons, which is quite good. He can, of course, use the extra High Templar to feed back the Infestors, which is also really effective. Once again, we have the Stalkers moving up the north side of the map, and I think they're going to be able to snipe this hatchery really quickly. Yep, they blink forward, picking off the Infestor first. Very smart choice. Excuse me. And then killing the hatchery, and now he's just going to be running away. So once again, the Broodlords moving forward with the Infestors a little bit far ahead, more than I'd like to see them, but trying to continue to deny bases. This base, of course, trying to go back up again for the second time, and this base almost mined out, so kind of a waste of Busker's time to pick it off. So he's going to be moving up north, which I think is a better decision. This base is a lot more valuable. However, now that he sees this, he might as well pick it off. It'll be quickly. No cancel going down. That hurts. 400 minerals down the drain, where you could just lose 100 from a cancel. So, Protoss Army moving forward. A lot of Archons and some Observers. Some Links running up into the north base of Tokiloki. This is exactly what I was talking about, why you want to have those cannons there. Will he get the base? Will he get the Nexus? It looks like no, he is not. The the Zealots picking those off very quickly. But these Broodlords preventing Tokiloki from taking this base once again. And now the Mothership is out. It almost has enough energy for a Vortex. It's about at 95. So about 5 more energy, and he'll be able to do a Vortex, and that might decide the game. We have a lot of Stalkers moving forward. The Infestors going down quickly, but a nice fungal growth keeping them there. The Broodlords in a good position again. Newkirk, just a great map for Broodlords with all these little high ground divot things that prevent Stalkers from getting up underneath your Broodlords. The Broodlords moving forward, picking up the cannon as best they can. Mothership does have Vortex, but this is not a place you want to Vortex the army because you can't really do anything with your Archons. You can't get underneath that. So Tokiloki is just defending as best he can. But this base, I think, might go down. Fester's moving forward once again. They are pretty high on energy. They have a good bit of fungal growth going down. But we have the Broodlords stepping out of their comfort zone. If they get any much further, he can easily Vortex that. So a little bit of risk. However, he did get that base. Going to be moving forward once again. This is super risky. Infestors kind of out in the open. They're dying very quickly. A fungal growth going down, but is it going to be enough? The Infestors dying like that is so crucial. Only 200 gas for Busker is going to make it very, very hard for him to replenish those. The Mothership Core casting Vortex. We do have a lot of Corruptors going in there, but none of the Broodlords hardly. The Archons need to get in there as well to kill off as many of those Corruptors as possible. A blink going forward. There's kind of nothing left to stop the Stalkers. But that high ground position is just too good. The Archons killing as much as they can, and actually a lot of the Corruptors surviving, so kind of a wasted Vortex. Will the Mothership Core go down? It looks like the answer is yes. A lot of Zealots here now to try to kill these Broodlings off, but he needs the Stalkers to get up underneath those Broodlords so he can kill them. He blinks and moves forward. The Broodlords are out of their position. A lot of them, I think, are going to go down. One goes down. But the number of Broodlings is just too much. I'm getting too excited here. This game is absolutely crazy. Nice back and forth from both players. Another Mothership coming down. I think this is like the third or fourth he's tried to produce. The third, if it finishes, it'll be the third Mothership that's been out. just a crazy game. But in the meantime, it looks like we have some Warp Prism play that's going on. A lot of Zealots on the Zerg side of the map. The right side of the map was so crazy that I didn't even notice this. But he's just continually doing economic damage. Look at the gas of the Zerg. He has 12, 20 gas. That's so bad for the Zerg player. He's only able to produce 2 Broodlords right now, and they're kind of stuck in this position, to be honest. It's a great position, but it's kind of the only place they can be without Infestors or Lings or anything like that to help them. So Protoss player can just long distance mine and continue to do these awesome little Zealot counterattacks with the Warp Prism. So Warp Prism speed was definitely a good idea. The space is going to fall. He's going to be moving up to the left side base as well. Looks like Busker thinks he has to do something now, so he's going to be moving forward with his Infestors, with his Broodlords, but he has no Infestors, so Protoss army really could just run under and kill it, but I don't think Tokiloki wants to do that. I think he wants to do a base race. He knows there is not that much left for the Zerg player, so he's going to be moving forward. There are some Lings here. The Lings are going to be attacked by the Stalkers. A nice little blink to do some damage to them, but I don't think he should waste his time chasing after those Lings. He should go straight up to the main and force a base race, because he can definitely win this with this few Broodlords. And like I said, these bases are also close together. It's going to be easier for him to defend. So Mothership coming out once again. We have the army returning for Tokiloki, and with this Warp Prism and these Zealots, he could probably just actually go up into the natural and kill the Zerg player, while these Broodlords are all the way on the other side of the map. Only 200 minerals for Busker. He won't be able to replenish. This will be the last fight, and we'll see who wins. We have a lot of Zealots moving forward. Are there any... Oh my gosh, I don't know if there are actually any Overseers, so he can't really see the cloak units, although of course the Stalker's getting out of the cloak, the Stalker's moving forward, blinking underneath the Broodlords to kill as many of them as they can, and I think that this is going to be game, and Busker leaves without a GG. Holy cow. Wowza. That was absolutely crazy. 42 minutes, and then Tokiloki leaves at 42-19. Oh my goodness. Legus, thank you so much for sending me this game, and Tokiloki, thank you so much for playing it. It's absolutely incredible. One of the most exciting games I've casted, 42 minutes long. First game I've casted on New Kirk District, and it was definitely a success. So I have to say, just looking at this map and playing it on the ladder, I didn't know how I felt about it, but man, after casting that game, I can see just how exciting this map can be. Of course, when 2 players as good as these 2 players are battle it out on New Kirk District. So very, very exciting. Thank you so much for watching this cast. Please subscribe to the NoN-eSports YouTube channel. That would mean a lot to us here at NoN-eSports. Also, check out our website, like the video, and comment. Please comment. I love reading comments. And send your replays to kadoinkstudios@gmail.com. I'm going to try to be doing some more casting on the Kadoink Studios channel, so please check out my Kadoink Studios channel at youtube.com/user/Kadoink Studios, where I'll be doing some co-casts with Boisterous and some other various things. Please, please, please buy Heart of the Swarm, pre-order it, play in the beta, and then get it on March 12th. Play the campaign. The campaign is going to be very good. Play the multiplayer. It's going to be exciting, and it's going to be a lot easier to get into if you're intimidated by kind of the laddering scene. You'll have unranked play. You'll have some incredible verse AI systems going in. So please get Heart of the Swarm. Please continue to watch StarCraft, and thank you so much for watching this cast, and I'll see you guys next week.